change in the church world can be pretty concerning because it can feel like compromise. The church is like called to preserve things. So change is really hard. And yet the irony is most people go into ministry to see change, like in people's lives and their community. And then, but when we have to change, that's tough, you know?
Hey, welcome to Wealth Beyond Riches. Today, you're going to hear some road noise in the background, but we're going to talk with Chuck Bomar. There won't be road noise during the interview. Chuck is an amazing friend. He's a leadership consultant. He is a business owner and entrepreneur. He has a really unique viewpoint on business. And we're also going to talk about his book, Pivot Now, which deals with the changing landscape of leadership and how the landscape is changing faster than our organizational strategies can keep up with. So how do we lead through that? So if you're looking to improve your leadership, your life by 1%, this is going to be so helpful. Also, Chuck is one of the most humble, understated guys that I know. His heart will bleed out, and you're going to hear that. I'm so excited for you to listen. Also, if you have not subscribed, please do that so that you don't miss any future episodes. This is going to be good.
I want to start with your background because I think one of the things that drew me to you initially as a person when we met a couple years ago was you have a really cool framework for business and building businesses. And you wouldn't call it building businesses, you'd call it building people, which is really cool. But why don't you talk to me a little bit about your business background and that framework for building businesses? Like how did that come about? What are you working on right now? Give us kind of the business leadership landscape before we jump into change management and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I had a couple of startups and had one exit and one complete debacle, like where I had my partner committed fraud and stole a bunch of money and spent a bunch of time in prison, and that was a disaster. It's funny though how much you learn from those failures and how little you learn from success. So like, I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world, but but it was not lacking pain for sure.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, I was looking at maybe buying small companies. And ended up buying, long story there, but ended up buying this delivery company. And my background, I always joke and say like my background, at least both my mom and my dad's side, but definitely my dad's side. Some people say it's blue collar, but I say mine is dark blue collar, like really rough. So, working with, especially in the church context, you don't necessarily, you tend to work with a certain type of person, you know, and it's not like what I'm used to as my family background. So working in delivery was like so refreshing for me. And just kind of being in the world, so to speak, because the longer you're in ministry, we don't like to think about it this way, but the longer you're in full-time ministry, the more disconnected you are from everyday life. That's just how it works. So, it's why people that aren't in a ministry ask the pastor, like, so what do you do? Like, they don't know. So anyways, I like it. And that's where I started to form like kind of like a philosophy around it. I intentionally went into it initially because the church was growing and I didn't want to take more money from it, but I had a girl, my oldest daughter was going to be in college in 5 years. It's like, how do I want to handle this, you know? And so my exit was great, but I was all kind of tied up in whatever. So, but I started to realize that like, man, I really love this. And that's where I started to form like, hey, I'm not, people in the church world, at least ministry world, didn't really understand what I was doing. They're like, how do you go from that to delivery?
Yeah.
And there's like a core competency thing that I think through there. But bottom line is I started to say, you know what, I'm not building a business here. I'm building up people and I'm using a company to do it. And it gave me this ongoing framework for the 11 other companies I've bought since then, like of how am I working with this? Like, how am I doing this? Um, and so it's given me just this framework of like, it doesn't mean I don't manage a P&L, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm managing it for a different reason.
Hmm.
I'm making sure this company is stable because it's building up people.
Hmm.
So if I can create entry level management and ownership opportunities, like that's what I'm trying to do. And so the P&L matters. Like it's important that
Yeah.
we have proper margins and we're making sure that this is happening. And as I train the guys in people running the companies about that, it's the why that drives it. And um, they've been a part of that process too, so they're bought in too. So it makes it more fun. I always say I love business, but people make it meaningful. So
Hmm. That's so cool. What what would you say is, if you compared yourself? I just spilled a bunch of water.
oh,
If
that up.
no, it's good. It wasn't that much. If you compared yourself to other owners of delivery companies, what are you doing? Not like a good or bad, but like what are you doing different that that makes your framework different from the average delivery company out there?
Yeah. So to be clear, I've eventually I've sold out of the delivery side, but I have transportation, commercial mechanics, and in-home care. But on the delivery side, especially, um, I mean, I think the biggest difference is that I view I view this as an opportunity to care for the whole of a person.
Hmm.
And that is really tricky because most employees put up a wall with around any stress in their personal life with their employer because they don't want it to seem like they can't do their job because their life is stressful.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a nonprofit that we have brought in to partner. I bring it as a partner.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a secret, but I don't tell anybody that's my funding. It's just a nonprofit partner. And we have an
Yeah.
NDA, but we basically have a process where we have our employees, they can do it voluntarily, but we pay for it. Um, where they get to take this little assessment about where their biggest stress points are in life, and then we provide coaching around those.
Hmm.
Ironically, like here's what I do. I don't know much about the personal life of our employees because there's an NDA, but I have found two things, like at least two things. One is I do know that most of it's always tied to relationships or finances, the stresses, which is
Hmm.
not really surprising.
Yeah.
Um, but then I also find that they talk to me more about their personal struggles, um, because we're providing an avenue for more of their holistic care. If I was
Yeah.
selling this as a product, I'd say, man, you want to have loyalty and build long term employee status, like care for them holistically. It's not rocket
Yeah.
science.
Yeah.
It's just not why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But I also won't deny like the byproduct. I mean, I didn't expect
Yeah.
it, but um, it's been a tool for me to share my faith,
Mm.
um, more than I thought, actually.
Hmm. That's really
I was
cool.
just trying to build a bridge coming from ministry where everybody expects you to be involved in their personal life and they want to be in
Mm-hmm.
yours. In the business world, like nobody does.
Yeah.
And so, like, in fact, in the business world, most of my employees would prefer me not to be around.
Hmm.
Not because they don't like me, but because I own the company. Like, it just
Mm-hmm.
creates a thing. And so, trying to bridge that gap into their personal life in a not in a weird way
Mm-hmm.
and have it not be weird was like kind of the trick. So for me, it just kind of um, helped. Also, like we've done things like sold our companies to the people that we developed within them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably a whole nother podcast because that's can be really complicated.
Yeah.
But um, but it is cool where one of the situations was is I bought a company, invested in somebody, they grew, and then I sold it to them, but I sold it not for what the company grew to be, but what for I originally bought it for.
Hmm.
So him and his family get to catch that equity. So that was that's fun. Um, I made money along the way, and hopefully
Yeah.
all that money will come back because it's a loan, kind of loaning
Hmm.
him that money back. But those are a couple little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple little things. I bought a
Well,
company, I grew it, I sold it to the person for my purchase price. Little that I love it, Chuck. You're extremely humble, and that's why um, I love getting to one, spend time with you, but two, get to pull this story out of you for people to hear because that's not normal, and it is to you, and it's become like part of who you are as a business owner and leader and person is valuing the person, valuing the individual and who they were created to be, and helping them realize who they can become, and using business as a tool to do it. Uh, it's pretty upside down compared to most business models out there.
yeah. Well, I mean, most companies are trying to build the company and using people to do it.
Yeah.
And that's not a horrible thing. I mean, you could
Hmm.
still have a ministry in that model. For
Yeah.
me, though, it just makes more sense. Like from a from a Christian perspective, my faith perspective,
Hmm.
just settles things for me. Like
Yeah.
I just feel way more at peace because the why of trying to have a profitable company and a growing company is just way more settling.
Hmm. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. It's funny when you do the hard part of leading with integrity. Uh, the Yeah, it brings so much like peace and contentment with what you're doing. Uh, and I would think maybe it like just keeps you open handed with it of like, hey, stuff's gonna happen, you know.
Yeah.
But I've got people I trust and people who trust me because we're sharing more than just these job responsibilities or these KPIs. We're sharing life with one another.
Yeah, and maybe think we'll get to it, but like when my faith is decoupled from my business model,
Mm-hmm.
that is not freeing.
Mm.
Like I mean, nobody is comfortable in that, truly at peace. Like, yeah, we all like outside of like a fully integrated reality, we just have like an unsettling. So this is just, I'm not saying my life is completely settled and I'm totally at peace in all areas. I'm not saying that. However, when my faith is driving my business model, that is really helpful to sleep,
Yeah.
you know? Like there's a level of settling that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
It and it's not just a label for you, which is what's really admirable. Like I feel like a lot of times when faith and business have collided in the past, it's kind of an excuse to suck at what you do because it's like, well, I am a person of faith, trust me. When you're actually not producing an excellent work product, and you're going, hey, let's do stuff with excellence. Let's also care for people like we say we believe we should, and then the results speak for themselves at that point.
Yeah, right. Like when I, bought these delivery companies, to be honest, like there was a race to the bottom, man. Like
Mm,
these things were struggling, the trucks were horrible, like all these things. So you come in and you give brand new trucks to a driver that has like air conditioning, for instance, or something, or the heater works and the front dashboard isn't duct taped on, like
mm.
um, I wish that was like not real. That was actually,
Yeah.
um, but you do that and it elevates everything. Um, and then your faith witness becomes a standout in a different way.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a little riff off of your comment on trying to do things excellent. At the same time, like my bus company, my transportation company, I would say we're like a B. We're not like an A plus white glove thing, and we just are who we are. It's great. You know, we kind of settle in, but we also want to do that with excellence, with people and how we treat them and hospitality and the logistics planning and all the things. Like, just do it well.
Yeah. That's so good. Um, do you have any stories, or does any of your managers come to mind that's just I don't know. I feel like you've shared with me a ton of compelling stories of like, hey, this person was here, and then through business, through coaching, through development, through caring for the whole person, now they're here. Like, what things have you enabled people to be able to do because of how you've led them?
Oh boy. Um, I mean, we've hired people that were living in tents with 4 kids and, those
Mm.
kind of things, get them an apartment, those kind of deals. But like
Yeah.
one of our companies, the guy running it, um, he actually spent time in prison, jail, and just was having the hardest time. Like, just such a good guy, but
Yeah.
you know, he bounced around everywhere from used car sales to mortgages to tried real estate, but that was too long because he had a family and kids. And brought him into one of the companies, and he he's thriving, man. He bought a house for his family, and being able to take him on vacation. Just like these little things that people are so normal to so many, but are so
Yeah.
foreign to a lot more. And
Yeah.
I've found that if you can help somebody have mobility economically, they gain mobility socially,
Hmm.
but it doesn't always happen the other way.
Yeah.
So there's something to it where if you want to help people get connected and create social mobility, the
Yeah.
economics side is really a catapult for that
Hmm.
catalyst.
Yeah.
So
And I remember you saying a few years back, like your goal in a lot of these businesses is to break the cycle of multi-generational poverty.
yes,
Uh, and I just, man, what a cool reason to get into business. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure not every day you're jumping out of bed in the morning, like, let's go. But
well,
you, you
um,
kind of probably do most days.
yeah, dude. This is the truth. Like when I wake up, I'm hoping it's at least five.
Hmm.
Um, and this morning it was 2:50. So like, because I wake up, I'm like, let's go. Like I want to go about the day. Um, and so I had to like fight to get back to sleep, and I did for an hour or so. But um, but yeah, I think 'cause
You're
that's
like
my
Buddy the Elf. I got a solid 45 minutes. I'm ready to go.
yeah, it's like it's weird. I wake up, I'm like, oh, I feel good. Oh gosh, I hope it's done. And I look over at the clock. But that's just my story, man. Like
Yeah.
my family is my mom and dad got divorced when I was 6 months old. They've been divorced multiple times now,
Mm.
and they're both single, divorced 3 times right now. And so, and my their dad abandoned them when they were both each of them were in elementary school. So my family, I was the first person to even attend a college class, not even like much less graduate. So
Mm.
breaking a chain I mean, it's just God's grace, honestly. But now it's like, well, how can I contribute to that happening in other people's lives? Because I have been um, blessed with being able to break that chain.
Yeah.
And my wife's family's the polar opposite.
Mm.
Everybody stays married, everybody's Christian. Like it's like a totally different scenario. And so I
Yeah.
do it. So it's just kind of like, hey man, that's been my experience.
Yeah.
So um I just have a unique heart
Yeah.
for people in those positions.
Mm. Yeah. That's really cool. I think we all have unique hearts. I think what's different about you is you're walking it out. Sorry, I just thought of that song. Walk it out. Walk it out.
Sing it. Sing it
My
out.
my senior in high school was dancing to that instead of studying for math the other night. So we have video proof. But you're walking that out and going, hey, how can I actually use my experience and also the blessing I've experienced in that and providing that for others? And I think if we all look on our lives and go, man, what are the things we did nothing to earn? The family we were born into, the opportunities we got, the talents we were given, like the stuff that we had zero control over. If we acknowledge that and go, how do we leverage that for others? That provides us a ton of purpose, man. Whether we're building a business, whether we just sold one and we're trying to figure out what to do next, whether we're like, I think the people we work with who are walking into retirement going, what's next? Man, if you're building into people, you can do that for a long time.
Yeah. Well, again, and that's just where the meaningfulness comes. I mean, how many people have a lot of things, but they're lonely? I mean, you can go down that
Mm-hmm.
whole that whole conversation, but it's
Yeah.
just true.
Yeah.
Like it's not, I'm not saying having a nice house isn't meaningful or nice things. I mean, I like it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, but ongoing
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good, man. Um, you recently came out with a book, or is it out yet?
Hmm.
It's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. Released last week. Yeah.
It released last week. Oh my gosh, I'm behind. It's called Pivot Now, and tell me about like where the genesis of the book came out. I know this one means a lot to you. You've written many books, and this one has special meaning. I saw you posting with your daughter the other day of I'm going to be annoying and talk about this more, but I want to give you, man, I want to give you the chance to talk about it. Like where the genesis of the book come from? Like why did you feel like this needed to get out on paper? Because I hope people have already heard you're not going, how can I sell books? You're going, hey, how can I build into people? So why write this down and document it?
Yeah. So it was when I was serving as president and CEO of Barna. And I
Which is a
was at
big
a,
research data organization, really within the faith-based community for the most part. Is that right?
yeah, yeah. And I was at an event for Convoy of Hope, which is, you know, she's great, huge, organization.
Yeah.
And
One of the biggest disaster relief organizations in the world.
yeah, and they're solving childhood poverty in a lot of ways. Like
Yeah.
it's not small. I mean,
Yeah.
they have a facility now that they're going to be able to make 1 billion meals a year
My gosh.
themselves. Like it's
That's awesome.
great. It's crazy. Um, but I was talking to one of their like regional directors, and I said, "Hey, if there's anything I could do to help you guys serve pastors, let me know."
Hmm.
And it wasn't just because I was at Barna. Like that was actually one of the reasons why I went to Barna. It's like I was excited to be a part of that.
Hmm.
Um, and so he was like, "Yeah," and I say that like all the time, like to people, like, "Hey, if I can help you serve this or that," and especially pastors, because I'm a church guy. Like I don't
Hmm.
know. And so he called me and he's like, "Hey, were you serious?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah, I was serious." He goes, "Well, what could it look like?" And I go, I have no idea. I go, "My whole thing is like a lot of parachurch organizations." I go, "A lot of you guys are not really parachurch, you're parasites. You're just sucking off the life of the church." And so I go, "If you want to do something to actually serve them, I'm in, you know?" And he goes,
And
"Well,
then he
that's not."
hung up.
Yeah, like, I'm out. Uh, but I mean, it's true though. Like, and so what I appreciated about what their perspective is like, no, we call it a partnership, but we're trying to find ways to actually serve them. And I go, "That's what I'm talking about." So he's like, "Well, what have you been thinking about?" And I started to like unpack my thoughts around what I'm calling the decoupled web or the decoupled network as a model of understanding how faith works. And he's like, "Chuck, would you be willing to meet with some pastors about that?" So we began to do this like um, living room kind of thing, and where I just went. They didn't pay me. I didn't ask to be paid. I didn't. They covered my costs or whatever. But and then I
It
sat
was like
down.
an arena tour, but instead of arenas, it was living rooms.
Yeah, and the truth is that if we understand how this works, like they were using me to build relationship, and that's
Hmm.
great.
Yeah.
And I got the joy of talking through what I had been living with by myself.
Mm.
And the more that I met with pastors and leaders, not just through those settings, but I started to realize like people, there's a weariness that sleep doesn't really fix.
Mm.
And I think a big part of that is not a lacking of strategy, but a lacking of understanding what's happening around us.
Mm.
And so what I was finding is that like what I was kind of fell into of like thinking through, it was helping give language to what they were feeling, and it was energizing to them. And so I was like, oh wow, this there might be I might be onto something here, like in a sense of like, oh, this is actually helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I continued to like unpack that with people in those settings and outside of those settings and writing it out, I just started realizing like, man, I really care about this.
Mm.
I There was an intrinsic motivation around it, and there was so much culminated, because not only was it providing clarity for people of like, okay, I have language for what's actually happening around me now.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense. But now it was this culmination of my entire life
Mm.
around what change is and what it looks like.
Mm.
And so, for me, it's like this, it's bringing together all of my worlds.
Mm.
And, because one of the things is like, it's one thing to like name what's happening.
Yeah.
It's another thing to like move an organization because of what you now understand.
Yeah.
And so in change in the church world can be pretty concerning because it can feel like compromise.
Yeah.
And the church is like called to preserve things. So change is really hard.
Mm.
And yet the irony is most people go into ministry to see change,
Mm-hmm.
like in people's lives and their community. And then, but when we have to change, that's tough, you know?
Yeah.
And so I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to not only articulate what is happening in culture and sociologically and how people relate to faith to give language to that, but help a leader now have that kind of change move through them so they can lead their
Mm-hmm.
team through change and then towards very specific things that help them meet their context. So for
Mm.
me, like I consider myself more of a missiologist. Like
Mm.
I think more about mission and the church as a city, those kinds of things. And
Mm-hmm.
so this for me is like the most personal in that it combined a lot of things in my life. It just kind of came together and it seems to be helpful. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, and it sounds like you're really uniquely positioned for this because you spent years as a pastor, and then,
over 25
uh,
years. Yeah.
yeah, and then startup business owner, and then now business owner and leadership consultant and manager, and all those things coming together to be able to serve pastors, uh, which is really cool. Like to have all those things kind of coalesce and go, oh, like you're finally figuring out what you were created to do, you know? Like,
Yeah. Well, I'm 51 and I've had so many people tell me that their 50s was the decade where they're most productive.
yeah,
And I'm starting to wonder if that might be true for me.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
um, and I think there's a lot of reasons. That's probably a good podcast topic too someday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know, man. Like this has been really helpful, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the Lord will do with it, but I can
Mm-hmm.
say like I sincerely care more about this than I ever have anything else I've done.
Mm-hmm. And what's cool is it started with a willingness to help. It wasn't like you're like, hey, I got a book. Let me try to sell this book to you. It was like, hey, can I serve your people? And then by serving the people, you discovered, oh, there's really helpful stuff here that can help people. Now let me package it in a way so it can help even more people. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
cool.
wasn't trying to write a book.
Yeah.
Like I just people were saying, "Hey, do you have this written down somewhere?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No." Like here, I'm just
It's great.
vomiting on you guys. And
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
some slides and stuff to try to like
Yeah.
help some of the conversation, but
Hmm.
um and that's I started feeling actually bad because what I found was on that first little tour, people were disoriented.
Hmm.
And these are like these are strong leaders,
Yeah.
um, leading like major networks of churches,
Hmm.
and they were like disoriented, left, kind of going, okay, now what? And I'm like, just dropped a stick of dynamite and walked away.
Yeah,
And
right.
I was like, I felt bad, and so I was
Yeah.
like, oh man. So graciously, when I actually got like a rough copy, uh, rough manuscript, I actually printed some, and Convoy actually sent them out to those people.
Hmm.
And again, it wasn't even a book at that point; it was just
Yeah.
some thoughts. But I was
Yeah.
like, gosh, I felt bad because I had a lot
Yeah.
more thought around. Okay, so what? Like, what do I do? like,
Yeah.
like how to make it like practical.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's kind of how the book came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What one of the things that you talk about in the book is there's this change that's happening in the world around us, in our churches, in our businesses. Like the pace of change is much faster than we can keep up with. Um, and so you kind of walk leaders through how to navigate the pace of change. What are a couple like practical things around that somebody could latch onto, or maybe flesh out that idea first of the pace of change is much faster than our pace of change in our workplace, in our church, whatever.
Yeah, and it's not just the pace, right? I mean, there was a day when a farmer, in 1920 didn't wake up the next day and find a tractor. Like, I mean, and then go like, what do I do with this thing? Like, how do I turn it on?
Yeah.
That's kind of more our reality now. Like we wake up and all of a sudden AI's there and you're like, what? Like, what's happening? Um, so we're waking up to new things that we have to like navigate now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That creates fear because when you don't understand change, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say change is always the same. Like it's constant, it always creates fear, and you're always trying to figure out what to hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
So the pace of change is just you can't keep up with it. Now you have to be ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a leader, you have to be change ready. That's the first thing. But the mechanisms and the mechanisms of change has also dramatically impacted how we process and relate. Everybody talks about social media as having an impact, but I don't know that we really understand it um, as well as we should. And so one of the things that I'm trying to get across is how we got to where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Not just where are we, but how we
Yeah.
got there. And whether it's the chicken or egg or just a contributor to or the creator of, I'm not sure, but algorithmic curation matters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for a number of different things. Like our social media is constantly reinforcing what we're already believe, already think, and already are interested in,
Yeah.
because we're the product we're being sold.
Yeah.
So, but the output of that, because they don't want us to disengage, and what causes us to disengage is when we get frustrated. This is why we can't even fight through disagreements in culture anymore, because we don't have to.
Yeah.
We have curated our own reality, and this enthrones self in a very unique way. And this creates a total decentralized, decoupled reality in society, but not just in society, also within our own minds. Because when I can curate myself, what I hear all the time, it's like I'm walking in a hallway of mirrors. It's just reflecting back what I already think and all this stuff. So it creates a decoupled reality. So my identity is curated. My beliefs now are totally negotiable. Any sort of practices of faith are preferential only. And I am very cautious about affiliating and relationally now. And so even as like, wow, I feel so informed by my algorithmic curated reality, this echo
Hmm.
chamber, I feel fully informed.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody thinks everybody else is nuts,
Yeah.
because everybody thinks they're fully informed.
Yeah.
So this is the reality that walks into the church every day.
Hmm.
It's a preformed society. And so it's decentralized, it's fragmented, it's splintering, and now you're trying to figure out, what the heck do I do with this?
Hmm.
Um, and so I don't know. I just riffed on a lot of that. I don't remember the question you asked, but
No, it's
um,
good. That it's a fully informed self. It's also like a fully affirmed of the information self too. Of like, we make a joke in our house. I'll give my wife all the credit, but she's like, "Did you use AI for that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh," and it said that was the most amazing question I've ever been asked because it you're the smartest person on planet Earth, Tim. Wow.
yeah. Well,
Let me un- let,
your prompts now need to include, don't just tell me what I want to hear. You have to
right.
tell it to that.
Yeah.
Because it'd
Yeah.
be like, this is a really insightful question, Tim.
Yeah.
You're really onto something, buddy. And so,
Thank you. Wow, I feel great.
I
But
know.
it's funny because it does make you feel great, and it makes you feel like you're absolutely right, 100%. You know.
Yeah. Well, and it's created like historically. So historically, people relate to faith through what I call four dimensions. Now, I didn't come up with that. Like, it's been called different things, but it's really the same
Yeah.
four things. Like,
Yeah.
who am I? Where do I belong? What do I believe? What do I do about that? And where do I
Mm,
belong? It's like the four core common questions, right?
yeah.
Um, and that used to be kind of layered because of the speed of change and the way that information came in was different. So,
Mm,
who I said I was, if I said I was a Christian, that sort of defined a parameter around what I believed. Now, there's always been things debated, but generally, you say I'm a Christian, you're like, oh, I get you, and that meant you went to church, you read your Bible, you evangelism was a thing, like all these things, like practices,
yeah.
and then you joined a denomination, like you were Baptist or Methodist or whatever, and if you told me, oh, I'm Baptist, I kind of got you,
Mm.
like I understood where you were at and who I was dealing with. It was like the old Enneagram now,
Yeah. Right.
are you a 7? Are you a 9? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I understand you. Like there's
Yeah.
this like
Right.
frame. Yeah, but that map does not define reality anymore.
Hmm.
That was a model that worked. It
Yeah.
was helpful. So we thought, okay, if I can teach the right beliefs, the doctrine, then they would believe and it would layer out into their sense of identity, their practices, all those things. That does not happen anymore.
It was like there was an agreed upon foundation that you could build off of.
Yeah, a common baseline is what I say.
Yeah.
A general common baseline
Yeah.
where now it's instead of being layered, it's a completely decoupled network.
Mm.
So how identity, beliefs, practices, and affiliations are together, I think the better model is you see them all in different with like a web connecting all of them. That's a way better understanding of what's actually happening in the lives
Mm.
of people. This is why somebody could say, I like Jesus, but not the church.
Mm.
Their belief in Jesus is decoupled from their affiliations as we've understood it.
Mm.
And non-denominationalism fed this. Like
Mm.
non-denominational church says everything, it only says what it isn't. Like you don't you
Yeah.
have no idea what the heck that means.
Yeah.
And even like if you look at the denominations like Presbyterian, you're like, I don't even know what you believe because it's all over the map. Like,
Mm.
so it's decoupling and fragmented. And so all of these things are important to understand when with our kids. It's important to understand for a business owner that what's happening, who's walking in your doors
Mm.
are preformed
Yeah.
in their own reality. And it changes our posture towards people.
Mm.
Like you cannot assume really anything.
Mm.
Like there's people that hold to Christian beliefs, historical Orthodox Christian beliefs, but will not call themselves a Christian or an evangelical. So the identity from the is
Hmm.
decoupled from the beliefs. And so even with people that we work with or work for us or our kids, labels do not define really anything anymore.
Hmm.
So now I have to have a posture of curiosity
Hmm.
more than ever. I call it a mission-driven empathy, but um, in the book, but it's changed. The landscape has changed, and understanding that decoupled network is one of the things that I'm breaking down and articulating. I've only explained like one chapter to you here, um, but it's really important to have language around it, and I think it's a helpful
Yeah.
model to see kind of what's happening.
Yeah. It totally is. And I would think as leaders, one of the things that we could do is like, oh no, this change is happening and people have all these different belief systems. And now I have this sort of like conglomerate of all these different identities and people and beliefs. Uh, let's try to preserve what we had and hang on to like, let's get back to the roots. Let's remember when it was the good old days. How do we get back to that? I'm assuming that's probably not going to work.
No, nostalgia is rarely effective for progress. Like it doesn't. It's more comfortable in the moment,
Yeah.
but you're setting a timeline to your organization. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just truth. And it's like what one of the things I'm trying to get across, like the statement is God's mission will outgrow and outlive the methods you love.
Mm.
And we all understand that in principle,
Yeah.
but when we conflate truth with how we go about things,
Yeah.
um, your mission is greatly at risk.
Hmm.
In fact, I say the tighter you hold on to your methods, the more you're at risk of choking your mission.
Hmm.
And it's like, man, I just don't think it's just counterintuitive,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of the hard part of it, where we think that faithfulness means we hold on to what we're doing,
Yeah.
when now the decoupled reality in this echo chamber world requires faithfulness to equal adaptability.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not saying we compromise. I'm not saying we soften anything that the Bible teaches,
Hmm.
but how we do that is is important.
Yeah. Yeah. How do we, when we see the changing landscape, how do we as leaders update the strategy without losing our minds or feeling like, man, we're always changing and always updating things? You strike me as a very adaptable leader, going, oh, it's we got different stuff ahead.
Yeah.
How do we go about that without losing our minds in the process?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. There's like the second section is how to walk through that as a
Mm.
leader. But I think there's a couple things that are important. Like change for the sake of change is really just stupid.
Yeah.
That's just chaotic. And although I'm okay with change, I was born into change. Like I'm totally comfortable in change. I can live with anonymity. Like this is great. Like I'll figure it out. By but most people cannot.
Mm.
So there's a few things like if you just talk about change and you're throwing out ideas that people take as vision,
Mm.
that is really unsettling.
Yeah.
And you'll see an entire team just go into defensive mode.
Yeah.
And it's not productive.
Yeah.
And so you have to disarm people. Um, and there's some practical ways to do that. I mean, one of the
Hmm.
most obvious, I walked through a bunch, but one of the most obvious is that you tie change to your mission.
Hmm.
And so if you understand why, if all you're doing is talking about changing what you guys are doing and not clearly explaining the why because of the mission, you're just people are totally disoriented
Hmm.
and they'll be so frustrated.
Yeah.
And this happens like in your business too, man. If you start changing org chart, people, you're messing with people's identity.
Hmm.
Like you're messing with the relational ecosystem. You're messing with somebody's daily rhythm and how they see themselves fitting
Yeah.
into your company, right? I
Yeah.
mean, this is a massive upheaval if you're not careful. And
Yeah.
so
And they're like,
change
"Hey,
is
I just got used to that. Like I just like felt like I hit my stride. What's going on?"
totally. And so that's what I'm trying to unpack and make very practical in the book. But
Yeah.
one practical thing is just, one of the most obvious is making sure you tie it to the mission.
Hmm.
So like in my companies, for instance, if I say, hey, we you know that we're in the business of building up people and we're using this company to do it. Yeah, totally get it. Okay. So because of that, I'm thinking we're going to have to adjust something.
Hmm.
So now it's disarming.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just that by itself is very disarming.
Yeah. You took
Um,
out the dissonance because you created that common foundation. What'd you call it? Common baseline?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And if they're not into the mission of your company, you probably shouldn't have them employed.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, there's gonna be a timeline to that.
Hmm.
Um, and so if I can help do that and they understand um, why what I'm about to say matters,
Hmm.
and then I can finish that by saying, and here's how I think it could actually help you grow.
Hmm.
Done. Like
Yeah.
that just takes away so much of the fear
Yeah.
and the unsettling nature of the change.
Hmm.
So, um,
So
you
you
know,
started with mission, talked about the thing that needed to be addressed, and then ended with vision.
well, actually, and right before that, yeah, vision for how this would help them,
Yeah. Right.
right? And if I can't articulate all that stuff as a leader,
Hmm.
I shouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
It has to be a very small nucleus where I'm brainstorming,
Yeah.
very careful, because my ideas will be, I'm going to share my ideas with conviction and resolve,
Yeah.
because in the moment I believe it.
Yeah.
So if I'm just ideating around people, this is one
Hmm.
thing that leaders make a huge mistake in.
Yeah.
They ideate around too many people that take their ideation as vision and direction,
Yeah.
and it creates chaos.
Hmm.
And so you have to differentiate between ideas and vision.
Hmm.
And if you can't do that, change is going to be even more difficult.
Hmm.
And the energy, the capacity of the organization, of the people, just diminishes exponentially
Hmm.
because you're just throwing ideas out and everybody doesn't have direction,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. So
Yeah. I have a really good case study from real life. Someone who used to be at our company here needed to announce something change related. And so they made a calendar event and it was titled Changes Are Coming.
oh
No
yeah,
context.
well, if you want to create fear, that would be one way to do it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, gosh, yeah, and it's like I have this phrase that I use in my companies. I'd say clarity, and then I use a greater than symbol. Clarity is greater than hustle, and it's like most people say, like we're in a tough spot in leadership right now, and so we got to work hard. We got to dig down deep, whatever. And I'm like, I mean, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but clarity is greater than hustle, man. Like
Yeah.
you have to be clear, and it doesn't mean that you have to have everything figured out in your decision making process.
Yeah.
But we can't talk about moving a needle without making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Decisions move the needle. So, like, churches are horrible at decision making, like really, really bad. Which is why I have a whole chapter on it, because it's like there's real pressures to that too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a very real tension. But
Yeah.
it's like if I can't articulate clearly why the decision's being made and how they fit and what should happen, I should hold on and not like just the next step. But you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to decide everything to decide something.
Yeah.
So move, like go,
Mm.
move, make some movement. And in the church world, what I call in the book is we suffer from institutional inertia,
Mm.
where we're just totally fearful of change
Mm.
because we conflate it with compromise.
Yeah.
and it's just not true. So one of those things, again, and I think it's helpful for with parenting my college age kids to my companies, is that I just have to be really careful of how much I idolize my methods.
Mm. I'm letting that one sit because that hit me. That hit me deep.
Yeah.
It's true because you can hang on and it's like, do I care about this decision or do I care about how it's done?
And
And
the answer is yes.
which one? Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the hard part is like how we go about things.
Mm-hmm.
It actually becomes that's where we end up finding our identity,
Hmm.
and that's part of the difficulty.
Yeah.
And so now I'm dealing with my ego. Now and so what I end up doing is is um is I end up robbing the culture of my organization from adaptability
Yeah.
because my identity is tied to what we do.
Yeah.
And especially if this is what in a lot of my consulting, this is a special and a definitely an issue for founders
Hmm.
because what they've done worked
Yeah.
and they are deeply attached to it.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, change is not easy, man. It's not,
Yeah.
actually standing still scares me more, but I understand that that's not normal. And that's kind of why I think I can help in this.
Hmm.
Like I think change is not easy, but I understand it. I was
Hmm.
born into it.
Yeah.
I've been hurt by it.
Hmm.
I've created it in ways that unfortunately hurt others.
Hmm.
And I think there's some wisdom and some sense of like caution. Um, we move forward, but not without change.
Yeah.
Like one of the things I say is like a mission without change is like a seed that never grows.
Hmm.
And so the question I'm asking in the book is really, what if the biggest threat to your organization isn't change, but staying the same?
Yeah.
I think it's an important question to ask.
Yeah.
Um, and so you asked earlier, like where do people start or something? And I would just say this: find something to evaluate,
Hmm.
just something,
Yeah.
and evaluate in your mission. So like the church world, it's like, well, you want transformation. Okay, well, how are you measuring transformation?
Yeah.
Most can't tell you.
Yeah.
They'll point to some quantitative thing, which is
Mm-hmm.
good and actually necessary. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
But start saying, okay, well, now is this creating transformation?
Yeah.
Or is it just protecting itself?
Hmm.
So just start evaluating something is
Yeah.
just a place to start.
Yeah. And take it a couple layers deeper. Because if you're a church, it could be like, well, numbers are up. It's like, okay, yeah, there's more people here. That's great.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that mean people are changing? Or does that mean we just have the best 90 minutes on a Sunday morning in this area?
Yes. But I could participate without transformation.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times in church world, what we'll do, and we do this in business too, it's not the same, but we create a process for people to go through
Mm-hmm.
because we've equated transformation with what people finish.
Yeah.
And that doesn't equate to transformation. Participation does not equal transformation. And
Yeah.
finishing a process doesn't either.
Hmm.
We have to do something. I'm not saying we don't do anything, but like
Yeah.
we have to also measure like, okay, that process that we created, did it actually create what we wanted?
Hmm.
And just evaluation is important,
Yeah.
And then the end point that I'm trying to get to is more like gospel centric, but how you get there matters. So
Hmm.
that's what the book is kind of like. I'm trying to say is like, here's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the mindset of change. And then now what do we actually change? How do we simplify this complexity? Because most people see the complexity of the world and we try to manage it.
Yeah.
And you'll go crazy. Like crazy.
Oh,
So
I know.
yeah, you can't manage the complexity, but we have to mentor and disciple shepherd people through the complexity.
Mm.
So we have to name it and then have the right mindset and then point them in specific directions.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's been helpful for me, man. Like
Yeah.
again, even with my parenting, um, it's given me like, I guess a patience
Hmm.
that I didn't have.
Hmm.
Like, um, I'm more settled. I'm more differentiated from the complexity and stress around me
Hmm.
because I can name it.
Yeah.
And so it's helpful that I'm not contributing to the anxiety of who I'm dealing with as much
Yeah.
because I now have a framework that I'm seeing it through.
Hmm.
And now I can actually be more helpful.
Yeah.
And I think that's the magic for me and all the labor of articulating this.
Yeah.
Um, I've just seen it kind of just be it's personal.
Hmm. Yeah. You're making me think right now about my daughter going to college in the fall. And man, when I take a minute to list out the different things that she has on her plate, uh, I mean, I can get super annoyed with her sometimes. And then I stop for a minute and go, oh, prom, graduation, water polo season, college decision,
Yeah.
college visit, summer job, new friends, old friends. Like, dude, talk about change.
It's super disorienting.
Yeah.
And it's like I mean you might not struggle with this, but I can come home and be short with my wife, right? Like she'll ask me a question, I'll be like, I don't know, and it's like whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and then
I know.
yeah, and there and anyways, but there's a time when I have to stop and say like, hey, you know what? I'm so sorry. That actually has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with my day.
Yeah.
And I apologize, you know.
Yeah.
And the same thing was with the kids. But
Mm-hmm.
by the way, I've sent two girls to college, and we've talked about this a little
Mm-hmm.
bit already, but it's horrible.
I was about to say, do you have any tips? But thank you.
Well, it's just it's not that was overstated a little bit, but my girls are doing great, but it is hard, man.
Yeah.
As a dad of daughters, I trust them implicitly. Um, but just as a dad, like the vulnerability side, and they're smart, they're all the things like your daughter, but man, it's a test. It's
Yeah.
not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not. It's not.
Not at
Oh
all.
man.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I've
Chuck,
had
this
it
has
go
been.
well and had it go hard with my girls. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's I'm reading this book. Uh, well, let's finish with this. I won't jump there. Um, this has been super helpful, and I think any leader, pastor, um, parent listening to this is going to get a ton out of it. And if they want more, then they've got to go get Pivot Now. We'll put a link in the description. And I'm just so thankful for you and your leadership, how you model true servant leadership in the church, in the workplace, in your family. For anybody listening, I know Chuck personally, and all this stuff is real. So what you're hearing is not a show. What you're hearing is us talking about life, and you get to be a part of it, which we're really thankful for that. I love to end every show with one question, and that is, what is one thing that you're loving right now? This could be anything. It could be an experience, a sunrise, a person, a product. I'll share mine first to give you some time to think. But mine is there's a Netflix show called Death by Lightning. It's the story about the presidency of James Garfield. And we watched the show. It's, I think, a 5 or 6 episode like mini series. Awesome show. And then I learned it was based on a book, as you do with most like good cinematography. And the book is called Destiny of a Republic. I'm halfway through it right now, but man, that guy, every chapter starts with a quote of his, and one of them is, he was this farmer, son of immigrants in Ohio, didn't even campaign for his presidency. He said, "Come to my front porch in Ohio if you want to hear about what I'm going to do as president." And so he had literally just hundreds of people who would live outside his house, and he would come out and talk to them. But he had multiple kids, and he would read Shakespeare to his kids, and he would even read like Othello, like which is a tragedy. And he says this quote. He goes, "The children were not pleased with the way the story came out," he admitted in his diary, "but he hoped that they would come to appreciate the stories that do not come out well, for they're very much like a good deal of life." So that just came to mind as you were talking about things go well and things are also hard. And anyways, that
And
book,
that's something that you love right now?
I love the book.
Yeah.
And that perspective of like, you mentioned it earlier, like you had the startup that went well, and then the one that was an absolute debacle, that had to have a ton of pain in it. But what you learned in it was so much greater than the stuff that just worked,
Oh,
And so you would never choose that door, but just to know that that door is a part of life, and that path brings fruit and brings good things out of it. When a tree dies and what comes up in its place is even better. Like, I think it's kind of a summary picture of what you're talking about in business and leadership. Like through all of this decoupling, you can create common foundations. You can lead people through it and bring them to a better place of integration in their whole lives. So,
yeah. No, I love that. Yeah.
so what about
Pain,
you?
yes. What's that?
What about you? What's one thing you love right now?
Well, one thought on that is like I think this pain reframes things in a way
Mm-hmm.
that's more formative. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but behind me I have this thing called it has the word Ostranini. In the book, actually, there's a chapter called "The Art of Ostranini."
Okay.
It's actually the art of defamiliarization
Okay.
to maintain a meaning, and
Mm.
so pain does that. Like it's fascinating how God uses it.
Mm.
To answer your question though, like one thing that I'm loving right now is actually to be totally. I'll share two things. One is relationally with my daughters in college. It's been fun because they are. It's been. I've loved watching them step into their own faith.
Mm.
That's like when you really start to see it.
Yeah.
Um, and that has been so cool to
Mm.
do. I got the pleasure of baptizing Hope. I flew out to Boise State
Oh,
and
no way.
the church she's going to there. And you won't be able to see this probably on the podcast, but I'm going to show you a picture because
Yes.
I'm I'm so actually I think I might even post this on Instagram, but
And
um,
we're going to be on YouTube, so some people will see this. The people
oh,
driving and running on their treadmill, they will not. But
they will not. I can't. Oh, here it is. Um, so this is the picture
oh, let's go.
that the church sent Hope and that sent me, and it's
That's
just
amazing.
I've looked at that picture like 863 times, but mostly with tears probably.
Yeah.
But so that's been great.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a book, and a friend of mine told me about this book, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's called The Fire Within, and it's a book about Catholic saints,
Okay.
which is totally outside of my framework,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the worship of saints, I don't think is right,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but it's about like their prayer lives and
Hmm.
what was like this author is talking about their commitment to a personal kind of connection with God.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of it's I'm going to have disagreements around it, but it's actually been pretty confronting and compelling in some ways. That
Mm.
it's a thick book too, and you sift through some stuff. But if half of what is being said about these people is true, you're like,
Mm.
ooh, that's like
Yeah.
really encouraging. So I
Mm.
loved kind of working through that.
That's awesome, man. Sounds
Yeah.
like one of those books that rather than you reading it, it's kind of reading you a bit. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, but there is something about listening to someone else's story
Mm-hmm.
that can be like, oh wow, they really did. That was like their life.
Mm.
And now I don't know that anybody can model some, like Mother Teresa, for instance, is one of the saints that they
Yeah.
follow. And you're like, wow, this woman was she was interesting.
Yeah.
You learn about more of her personality and stuff, and you kind of go, oh wow, and her trajectory and some of the things. And anyways, it was encouraging.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I love it.